Every killer lives next door to someone. Tonight, actually, we're doing a daycast today. Surprise, surprise. I got Colin Kennedy with me today. We're doing a breakdown of Disturbia, the 2007 thriller that made every suburban street feel like a crime scene. All right, we're sitting here doing a midday Sunday daycast, and we're diving into Disturbia, the 2007 thriller that turned every suburban window into a Hitchcockian nightmare. Starring Shia LaBeouf as a teen on house arrest who starts spying on his neighbors, only to suspect that one of them might be a killer. Disturbia is a blend of suspense, paranoia, and a coming-of-age story with a sharp edge. So takes one of the oldest thriller setups, ordinary guy sees something he shouldn't, and gives it a little 21st century update. So we're going to hit the best scenes, hottest takes, of course, break down what aged like fine wine and what aged like a MySpace top 8. Before we get into it, let's start with a classic. CK, have you ever had a creepy neighbor or a time that you thought you saw something suspicious? What's the closest you've come to a Disturbia?
This movie is very relatable to my life. I have two stories. So
Okay,
I'm going to tell you both of these. And I wanted to see what you think, who is more likely to actually be a killer, because I don't know. So one was when I was pretty young, probably like maybe 8 or 9. In the middle of the night, this woman runs across the street from my parents' house. So it was just like the scene in the movie where the redhead runs out.
Yep.
This exact thing happens. She runs over to my house. She's banging on the door and she's like, help, help, help. There's a guy outside. He's got a gun. He's going to fucking kill me. And
what?
I'm crying. I was such a pussy about it. I was upstairs with my mom. So my mom and I are just like sitting down huddling, and my dad is at the door and he's like, do I let her in? He decided, fuck her, I'm not letting her in. That was his choice. So he didn't let her in, but he stood there at the door and he literally held the door. I remember it pretty vividly. He just held the door and like stood there, and she's like, please let me in. She's definitely like drunk. I'm really young, 8 or 9.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
Probably. So we moved to that house and I was in 3rd grade. Going on 4th grade. So, and it was right when we moved. So probably like whatever age you are in 4th grade.
Yep.
So that happens. He's holding the door. When the cops come, they end up talking to her. She's an exotic dancer. And the guy comes out of his house. So he was like one of the newer houses in the neighborhood. It was all like 20-year-old houses, and they randomly built this house across the street. And he was a single guy in like a big ass single family home.
Yep.
It's the description of this guy. What's his name? Forget his last name.
Oh,
the neighbor.
Turner?
John Turner. Yeah, he's very similar to John Turner. I didn't see him. But he comes out with the shirt off. He's like, what? And cops are questioning him. He plays it off just like John Turner did.
Yep. I don't even know what's going on right now. Yeah.
So that's that. We never heard of it. And he ended up moving like a few years later. So
suspicious.
Very suspicious.
All right, what's your second story?
Second story is only a year ago. So Casey and I lived in the city in Canton.
Yep.
In a nice area of Baltimore, but still there is leakage from like northern Highlandtown.
Yep.
Are you familiar with Canton?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So like closer to the water, nicer. Although at night the parks are dangerous.
Yeah.
Further up past Patterson Park is
it's a little sketchy.
It's shittier.
Yeah.
So, so we live like right next to the water, nice street, right next to a kids park. Well, 2 doors down from us, there's this older guy, probably 50, maybe late 40s. He's having weird stuff. So he's having these guys come over that are like 21, 20, maybe at the oldest, like 25.
Okay.
And
I have a feeling where this is going.
so one day, like Casey and I are like, who are these guys coming over all the time? One day she's looking out the back, like from our bathroom window, you can see into his patio. And
Yeah.
it's him. He's a white dude. It's him and this young Asian fellow. And he's like reaching over, trying to grab the young dude's leg. And that guy's just like texting. So we're like, oh, he's just gay.
Yeah.
So he's gay. Fine. But he's having a different dude over every day. And I'm like, this is weird.
Think these are grinder hookups?
They were probably grinder hookups, but so this is where it gets weird. Then we start seeing like people that are definitely not gay. They're kind of like more hood looking people, like they're from the northern part coming down, and they're dropping off boxes of clothes to this guy. And he's getting boxes of like children's clothes delivered into his house. And we're like, what the fuck is he doing? And like one day there's a guy outside of his house that didn't look like one of his hookups. Looked like a straight dude. I mean, just judging off the looks. And he had his like, you know, you have like an outlet sometimes in the front of your house. Guy's just charging his phone in this dude's outlet. And then he also had like a reoccurring hookup that was possibly trans or just gay, but very feminine. So, but here's another thing. Somebody delivered a package for me, or somebody stole one of my packages and threw it in the alley, and he brought it to our front door. And we're like,
no, it's him.
But he was really nice, just like John Turner. So I want to ask you, who do you think is more likely to be some sort of killer?
I would say the first.
I agree.
Is more likely to be a killer than the second. The second seems like a lost, creepy dude. But I would say the first encounter is probably more likely because of the reaction from the girl. Now, the girl could have been crazy. We don't know. But
yeah,
I find it hard to believe that somebody would behave in such a way if things were normal.
Why did she run out and say he had a gun? I mean, he definitely did something.
Yeah, he had to have. That's very odd. So I think there was a couple of times, especially after seeing this movie, where I was on the lookout for people that were of a nefarious nature. So between this movie, between the Dexter series, between that, and even at a younger age, I was probably 12 or 13 when 9/11 happened, and we had the DC sniper around the same time.
Yeah, and we were Colin and I were in kindergarten.
Yeah, you guys were young.
Barely remember.
You guys were young, so I remember particularly the DC sniper time. Anytime I would see a white van around the neighborhood, it was like book it time. And I'm like, all right, I'm either going to start running or I got to really hone in on some of these action movies and start practicing some of the moves.
I thought you could take them down.
Oh, there's 1,000% chance I thought I'm going to be a hero and I'm going to take down this bastard who was just sniping people for no reason. And
well, you go from being fourth grade where you're clinging to your mom, like the first time that happened, I was super scared. And then I had another encounter in middle school, not really related to Disturbia, but more of a creepy guy trying to
get close to you.
And the overconfidence I had, like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. And I was like 11 or 12. That one's weird too. I mean, I could tell that story, but I don't want to get too sidetracked.
No, it's all good, man. So yeah, this movie brings up a lot of feelings, and it really puts me back into like who I was in 2007, and then it just there's so many things in 2007 about this movie.
That's when you graduated high school, right?
Yeah. So this is
very relatable age to kill.
Incredibly relatable at the time too. So this movie comes out in 2007, produced by Joe Medjuck, E. Bennett Walsh, Jackie Marcus, directed by DJ Caruso. DJ?
Is he a DJ?
I have no idea. I think his name's just DJ. D.J. But, we're calling him DJ Caruso in the building. And then written by Chris Landon, Carl Ellsworth. Main cast is Shia LaBeouf, or LaBeouf. How do you say his last name?
I say LaBeouf.
I say LaBeouf too. All right. So Shia LaBeouf
That's how he says it.
Plays Cale Brecht. David Morse plays the sinister Mr. Turner, a neighbor who's under suspicion. We got Sarah Romer as Ashley Carlson, the hot neighbor that moves in next door. Always a fun adventure. We got Carrie Ann Moss, shout out Trinity, playing Mrs. Brecht, Kale's mom. And we have Erin Yu as Ronnie, the best friend. So we go into budget and box office, and then we'll do Rotten Tomatoes stuff. So this movie had a $20 million budget, not too bad, grossed $118 million worldwide. Critics gave it a score of 69%, hubba hubba. And then we have audience score 77%. Not bad.
Actually a little low.
It's a little lower than I was expecting, but I think part of it is because this movie is PG-13, not R, and it's kind of like a thriller slash kind of a horror movie, but not really. There's no Michael Myers type of character in here, but I think at the time it was just a really well constructed thriller. And if we get back into the time machine, see what else was in theaters in 2007, another banger of a year for movies. So we have No Country for Old Men. We got There Will Be Blood.
Oh my God.
We got Transformers, also ironically.
Wow. So they did two in one.
Yeah. Then we have Superbad and I Am Legend. Like, that's a pretty damn good year for movies.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of, it's not as good as those ones, at least on the, if you're doing rankings and stuff. Nevertheless, a fun watch.
So Shia got Megan Fox and this chick.
Oh, yeah. Shia was cooking in 2007. Wow.
His ego must have been through the roof.
Oh, dude, his ego had to be huge at that time. He's got, this movie didn't win any awards, but it dominated Teen Choice Awards, won Best Thriller, Best Actor for Shia, and Best Breakout Performance. Before this, he was doing Even Stevens, Holes, Constantine, also a banger.
But yeah, he was like I was thinking about his trajectory though as an actor. So like Even Steven, just goofy.
Yeah.
But Holes, I think, was where he started going like, all right, he's going to be something, because Holes is a great movie and he had some serious acting in that.
He did.
And then this might be the big step to where it's like, he's going to be a great actor.
I think so, because I think when you watch Holes, I mean, he's young in that. I don't know how old he was in that movie, but he was able to portray a character, a very famous book, obviously. But when you can take a character like that, bring it to life the way that he did, it's a good sign that this dude can act.
Mm-hmm.
Then you fast forward to a role like he played in Constantine, where he's like, kind of like the lovable, nerdy little sidekick or protege type for Keanu Reeves' character. Like, that doesn't really show acting chops. That's more for like comedic relief and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this shows additional range when he's in this movie, where he can connect with the audience in a way where they feel like they can put themselves in his shoes and live through what he's living through. He's just great at that, dude. He's super engaging anytime he's on camera.
Yeah.
But this is just, especially 2007 with the age that I saw this, what was it, 16, 17, something like that. He was just like perfect, man. I mean, he played this role so well. I was like, oh my God, dude, if I'm 17, 18, it's going to be like, I feel like I'm going to do all the same things that this kid's doing right now. And he just did an awesome job with that. David Morse, the guy who is the bad guy in this, the naughty neighbor. He's in Green Mile. He's in Contact. He's in The Rock. He's a well-known actor at this point. I'm pretty sure around this time, he was also like a lead in Hacks, like a CBS TV show. The only reason I know that, shout out Nana. We used to
was he in Dexter?
He might have been. No, Jonathan Lithgow was in Dexter.
Yeah, Casey was saying that today. Like, they used in Dexter. I didn't remember him.
I don't remember him in Dexter at all, but he was definitely, he's definitely in a lot of like TV series. And then we have Carrie Ann Moss, obviously well known for the trilogy, the Matrix trilogy. Our girl Sarah, who plays the hot new neighbor that moves in from the city. Cutie. Trust me, dude. Back in 2007, when you got these,
I was in middle school. No, I was in 5th grade. I didn't even know what to do with those feelings. I was very like,
what am I feeling?
Yeah.
She plays that part quite well.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really do anything prior to this role other than like she's in The Grudge too. So it seems like she's gotten like, they're her and the Asian kid, Aaron,
Didn't do much before.
Didn't do much before, didn't do much after.
I don't know anything they've done after.
No, but I mean, they were solid in this movie.
Yeah.
After this, the bad guy, David Morse, he goes on to be, considered for more intimidating and mysterious roles. He was quite good in this. And then you have Shia does Transformers, Indiana Jones, Fury, Honey Boy. I mean, he does like a shitload after this. And the timing's just great. The casting what ifs are kind of they're kind of fun. They're kind of fun. Do you have any research on casting what ifs?
I didn't see any, no.
Shia was the first pick, but they also considered Joseph Gordon-Levitt for this.
How old was he then?
Probably around the same age.
But they don't have a problem with casting people that are 28 to play high school.
No.
I mean, if you look at his class, his Spanish class, dude.
Oh, brother.
They're all like 35.
They drove themselves to school. They're going to go pick up their kids after school. Yeah, they always do that.
Classic Hollywood trope.
But I also feel like I had this conversation with somebody the other day. When I was in high school, especially like a freshman and sophomore, I remember looking at these kids that were older and thinking, that's a grown-ass man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a woman.
Yeah.
And now if you look at high school kids,
Babies.
They look like small children. Like they might be tall and lanky and all that stuff, but they're like, everyone almost got this little baby face. It's just, they're not quite, I always remember that. I look at my parents' old yearbooks and stuff sometimes too. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, the Fu Manchu, the hair.
People did used to look older.
Yes.
And I just heard a theory about this. They think maybe the biggest theory is hydration got big in the 90s. People started drinking water.
Really?
That's what
maybe we cut out cigarettes too. And
that's big. Yeah, that's big. Just replace it with Zens. We'll see what that does.
Well, we'll see what that does to the crowd. Megan Fox was rumored to do this.
Yeah, it'd be weird because then it's just Transformers.
Exactly.
The prequel or something.
Well, she turned it down to do Transformers instead. She's like, shit.
But they had no problem with doing Shia for both.
No. And speaking of casting what ifs, they considered Jeff Bridges for
the bad guy
role, but David Morse won out.
Yeah, Bridges too.
I feel like he's a little too rugged.
He can play a dark character, but he's still usually on the light side of the force. You know what I mean? He's not. He doesn't go evil. He's always a good guy, even when he's like, what do you call it, anti-hero?
Yeah.
Like,
even when he's doing bad things,
he's
still like, he's stands for the right things. But this Morse guy he's just got a way about him. Maybe it's his demeanor, but also like the way he looks, where he can be very inviting, but you don't know what's going on behind those eyes. And he plays this part so well.
Perfect.
That it's hard to imagine anybody else doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just a friendly, nice neighbor, but he's also got the build to be like,
yeah, he's huge.
He's a big dude. And most of Hollywood's like, what's he advertised? Like 5'5"?
Yeah.
So this dude.
Well, Shia is not that big.
No.
And so he said in this interview, they didn't meet until the fight scene was the first time they met.
Really?
And he said they didn't talk and they didn't like each other is what he said. It's really weird.
What?
And I don't know if it was like a method acting thing, but like that tension that you feel when he's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That was apparently real.
No shit.
And he broke fingers in the fight scene and they really went at it.
No way.
I don't know why they didn't like each other, but Shia was like, he's nearly 7 feet tall. I don't know if it's happened, but I think he's like probably 6'4" or something.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I love that. What do you know? Yeah. I don't think the movie works as well with other people in the role. I mean, we could get into more casting what ifs down the line, but let's get into breaking down the best stuff in this movie. And we'll get into best scenes and stuff in a little bit, but just what do you think of the way that Disturbia sets up the tension? Do you think it takes too long to get to the thriller elements, or is the build-up part of what makes it work?
Watching it last night, I've seen it so many times. It's one of those movies that is always on HBO when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So we always threw it on. Last night I was a little bored for the first 5 to 10 minutes just because I've seen it so many times. But I think this movie, even though it's a thriller, it's really like a comedy drama with like 4 or 5 thriller scenes.
Yes.
But it's like 70 to 80% comedy, which makes it so fun to watch because it's not like, oh, I got to watch this. Like, you're going to enjoy most of it and then get scared a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the buildup is fine. I think it's fine.
I remember the first time watching this movie, I went to theaters, I think with a date.
Oh.
And, or I thought it was a date. She probably had no idea. But it was, I remember the whole theater was like locked in to this movie, this from start to finish. It wasn't like, we had cell phones back then, but it was not like, there was not a lot of iPhones. There was, or if there was, it was like only the super rich had it. And people were just like, phones are away. Everybody's in there laughing together. They're scared together and shouting in the theater too when it happens. Like, this was just such a fucking experience to go and see in person. I think we saw it opening weekend. It was great, man. And I think they do a nice job setting up the tension. They give you like these little breadcrumbs throughout the story to kind of you said it really well. Like, it has like a lot of comedic elements in it. You got so many different things at play. You have like the neighbor moving in next door. Who isn't fucking excited about that? Like, you get a new neighbor and it just so happens to be like a hot chick that lives next to you and you're some 16, 17-year-old boy. You're like, oh my God.
Everybody's dream.
It's a dream. It's a dream. On top of that, he's on house arrest for punching his teacher. Turns out the teacher's cousin is one of the freaking cops that is right there to make sure that this guy doesn't step out of line while he's on house arrest. Then you have like he's making phone calls, not texting, trying to figure out what the hell is going on in the outside. Well, Ronnie, you got to tell me something. You got to tell me what's going on. And you could just feel that like boredom that he's going through. You can feel that. And the whole time he's got this depression and baggage because he thinks that he killed his dad and in a car accident in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. And a great dad. They had a great relationship. So
yeah.
They did a good job of portraying that.
Yes.
Did you think the punch was warranted? The punching the teacher?
I think if I'm a teacher and if I'm a teacher, I'm aware of the student situation. Maybe not as much back then. I don't think there was as much parental involvement back then. But I think it's probably warranted, knowing that this kid is obviously going through stuff and he lost his dad, a year prior. You probably read about it in the newspaper, and I'm sure people in school know about it and what's going on. This is high school, dude. Nobody knows, nobody goes through without, knowing gossip on every little freaking thing. Yeah. So for the teacher to say, what would your dad think about this? I think he kind of had it coming. Now, would I have punched? I don't know, but I get it.
After watching again, I personally think he had it coming because I went through a period where I was like, maybe the teacher maybe just really cared about him. But the reason I know he didn't, after watching it again, first off, this kid's struggling. Yeah. So let me make him stand up in front of the whole class. And first off, he goes, I don't know who you think you are.
Yes. But you're dealing with.
Yeah. Like, you do this privately. And if you want to talk about the dad, you don't say, what would your father think? You bring it up like your dad would want you to keep working hard, something like that. You don't say,
come see me after class.
Yeah. So the punch, it's like, I don't even think it was like he heard dad and just snapped.
Yeah.
So I think it was totally deserved, and fuck that guy.
I tend to agree with that. I mean,
I'm not encouraging people to punch their teachers.
No. But at the same time, like, dude, like, be better as a teacher.
Yeah.
Come on now. This kid's like 16, 17 years old. You're not gonna, you can't act that way. Like, dude, you're a fucking Spanish teacher.
Yeah, his name's kale. He's named after a fucking cruciferous vegetable. God's
Come on,
sakes.
man.
Give him some sympathy.
How do you feel about Kale as the protagonist? He's not your typical horror thriller movie lead. He's not a detective or anything like that. He's just a bored, grieving teen. Does that make him more or less compelling?
Well, for me personally, and I think for you as a guy, it's super relatable. I mean, I haven't been through what he went through, but just that time in life in high school and everything.
Yeah.
It was super compelling for me. And I was younger, looking up to people in high school, like my brother.
Yep.
So for me, it was awesome.
I loved it because it gives one point of view. If the movie's made today, you probably have like 3 different points of view. You've got like the mom's point of view. And what is she seeing when she's in the neighborhood? And you're getting a detective who's like on the hunt for a serial killer. But in this movie, you don't get any of that.
It's just from Kale's.
It's just his perspective. So it allows you to kind of lock in and see what this kid's seeing, feel what he's feeling. It makes it a lot easier to do that. If it was like I could see them converting this kind of format into a Apple TV series or something like that, and maybe extending it to give you those perspectives. But I don't know, and I don't know what the runtime on this is. But it's a pretty succinct plot line and everything. But I thought it was great, man. I think it's super relatable, especially for guys that have been that age or felt.
Yeah. Well, they do a good job of introducing this really heavy, dark stuff, like his dad dying.
Yes.
Because he's going to blame himself because he was driving. Wasn't his fault at all.
Yep.
But then they do a really good job of lightening the mood very quick. They move really quick after that happens so that you can enjoy the movie and not feel depressed as fuck watching it.
Exactly. Exactly. They do a nice job with that. And I also like it from his perspective too, because once the boredom kicks in and he starts trying to figure out ways to be productive, gets introduced to these different, you see like the different lives that are being lived around him. He's catching one of his neighbors cheating on his wife with the maid. He's catching these shitty little turds that live next to him on one side and, doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing, these old 11 or 12-year-olds, however old they are. And he's just like, it's really kind of interesting because he does a good job of taking you back to that age. I mean, like, he's seeing stuff that you wouldn't normally see because he's being forced to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because he's got nothing else to do.
Well, and it also goes to show like how productive a smart person can be when you cut out all the video games and really phones. Like his mom cuts the cord and throws his Xbox away, which was awesome, dude. That was a great parenting move. Oh, you think this is dramatic? And then she just cuts the line. But dude, he's at one point he's putting blueprints of his old house together.
Yes.
And he's like deconstructing a camera, and I don't know what he did with the camera, but
couldn't tell you.
Like, because you don't have all the distractions, like he, became very productive for this one weird task. But
100%.
Yeah.
Let's get into some voyeurism and the thrill of watching, because Kale starts off spying just for fun, no real suspicion or anything. What is it about watching people without their knowledge that makes us a little uncomfortable, but kind of
I don't know, but I do want to say it's really funny when he first watches Ashley like undress and he pulls the binoculars down and you can see him go, "This is right, I'm not going to do it." And he goes, "See," and pulls him back up, which I feel like most teenage boys would probably do.
100%. 100%. It's like, I enjoy it. I don't know what it is about that, but I mean, based on what I do for a living, it's kind of voyeuristic, going into people's houses and seeing how they live and all that stuff. I don't know, man. It is kind of thrilling to live through others. That's why we have television. That's why we have movies and stuff, because there's some escapism in it, and then it also kind of feels, I don't know, feels a little dirty, but everybody is kind of nosy about what other people got going on.
Yeah. Like one example is like checking in on one of your loved ones' devices, like either for the most part, it's a spouse or a significant other. and you're like, they leave their phone, and you're like,
What are they in?
should I look? And sometimes it's like you're suspicious, and sometimes you just want to know, like, what are they into? Like you said.
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody's caved and done it at least once.
Oh, everybody has. Everybody has. If this
usually find something you're not expecting.
Hopefully, I do not ever want my wife to look through my phone. She's going to see some of the weirdest shit ever on there. Some of this stuff is like research for this podcast. Some of it is like my ADD is like, oh yeah, I wonder about this. And it'll just be, I'll have like the most random searches you could possibly think of on there. And she'd be like, honestly, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like this dude is super weird. I do think it's interesting if this movie was made today with social media, Ring cameras, TikTok detectives.
Yeah, be a different movie.
It'd be totally different.
The phones alone would change it. I mean, a lot of the scenes, like, oh, he cut the phone line, that wouldn't work.
Nope.
Because everybody's got a fucking iPhone in their pocket. So, I didn't think about the Ring cameras. So that would be fine. That would just be another element that they could use to spy on them.
Yeah.
But I think the phones changed everything. The iPhone, it's kind of like, I don't really like iPhones in movies. Some movies have done it well, but
it'd be a lot harder to pull off. I think it's a lot harder to pull off the movie, not from Shia's perspective, but from the killers, because you've got, addition to the eyeballs on you, now you have all these cameras and technology that can track you and follow you. And I feel like it would make all of that stuff so much more difficult to pull off what he did.
Yeah. I mean, this shit still happens though, even though we have all this stuff.
This is true. This is true.
Probably just people get caught more, but
Suburbia is supposed to be safe, but Disturbia plays with that idea that it's just an illusion. So how does this movie use everyday normalcy to create fear? It makes you think that you're safe by living in a nice neighborhood, nice neighbors, nice cars. Oh, I mean, look at the killer, dude. He takes care of his lawn. It's very, meticulously landscaped. And you would think, like, everybody's like, oh, I'm going out and getting my coffee, or I'm going for a walk with my friend. You don't think about what's going on behind closed doors.
Well, the car accident too, that's even more realistic than the killer.
Mm-hmm.
Although in my circumstance, I think I had close call with two of these freaks.
Yes, you did.
And I didn't ever spy on the first guy because I was too young and he moved. The second guy did do a little bit of the kale action with the binoculars.
Babe, get me the binocs.
Yeah. We're doing a stakeout.
Get the coffee, the donuts, the pizza, whatever it is. I feel like nowadays too, there's a lot of true crime podcasts and neighborhood watch apps where everyone thinks that they're a detective, which would make it way harder to pull this off.
Yeah, I don't know how you could do it with adding the addition to his house and having a river of bodies.
Literally.
River of bodies.
A river of bodies.
Which was so creepy.
Like, this kid, I find it also weird that, like, this 17-year-old kid is, I mean, maybe he's the only one paying attention, but if you have like a serial killer on the loose and he's got these breadcrumbs, like, oh, we're looking for a blue Mustang and dented fender, and this kid's the only one that sees it, like this, and he's stuck in his house. Nobody around town saw this.
Yeah, I mean, real life, just call the police and just have them show up. I guess you need a warrant, but that seems like probable cause. I saw the fender and the car, but he did fix it though. So I don't know. They kind of covered their bases with that.
They covered it. Much to my chagrin. We got Cale dealing with his father's death, and his isolation is literal and emotional. Do you think his grief affects the way that he kind of latches on to this mystery? So
like he was using this mystery to kind of block out,
giving him something else to focus on.
I'm sure that's part of it. I mean, yeah, you would have to. So what else are you going to do? I mean, the really nice touch was when he goes into his dad's office, which that is a real thing. I had some friends their dad died in 6th grade, and they had that exact same thing. There's a room in their house, and I've been over their house so much, never been in it because it's their dad's office. They like just cleared it out. Okay. And we're 29. And he also, Shia did a great job. Like another thing he said in the interview, like, he's like, in this movie, I go from, dropping a deuce, like the comedy, to have to immediately go from dropping a deuce coming out of the bathroom to switching back to I'm in the grief of my dad is dead. And he did a really good job of portraying that. And yeah.
It was, I remember watching that scene and trying to put myself in his shoes. And I don't know what I would do in that case. I mean, he's trying to not disturb what is in there, disturb any of the memories of his dad. His dad was a writer. And I think that creativity I think that rubbed off on Shia's character.
I miss that detail. That's cool.
Yeah. Dad was a writer. So they were like fishing in the very beginning, and he's like, beat's working, right? And then Shia's like, you're a writer?
Yeah.
Beat's working. But I don't know. I think it starts as a distraction, but then as it continues and he starts putting these little clues together as he's surfing through TV looking for things to watch and, trying not to watch strictly trash television. It's just, I think it becomes not necessarily an obsession, but close to that. He's got enough distraction there with the girl who moved in next door, with Ronnie coming over and hanging out with him, that he's not solely focused on that. But when they're on board, after he tells them what's going on, it's like, oh, cool, it takes off.
Yeah, and they show that because when he finally like kisses the girl and start making out, then they miss the dude chopping up a body at his window. So
exactly.
Had he been solely obsessed, he probably would have caught that detail.
No doubt. All right, let's get into some of the best scenes. What do you got?
Okay. There's a lot.
There's a heavy of these, and they don't have to be in any particular order. You want me to start real quick?
You start. I've got some written down.
So I've got the garage sequence in here. Ronnie sneaks into Turner's garage with a camcorder while Cale is watching helplessly from his bedroom. The amount of stones that it would take to do what Ronnie is doing, I can't even fathom. I have in my notes, like, would I be a friend to the same level that Ronnie is? And the answer is no.
Well, I wrote down...
fucking going in there.
I wrote down, is Ronnie brave or just plain dumb? And I think he's just dumb.
I think Ronnie's... maybe it could be both, but in no way, shape, or form am I going into a suspected killer's garage. And then the garage shuts. I'm like, oh my God.
One, I wouldn't call it a plot hole, but one maybe critique of this movie, and you have to do it to keep it entertaining. They are like not taking this as seriously. I mean, they are doing the work, but like they should be way more scared because this guy is definitely a killer. They're just like, yeah, let's just go break into his house and see what's in there.
Break into his house and figure it out. And dude, that scene scared the shit out of me. I remember at the time, it still does, because I'm thinking like, dude, in no way, shape, first off, I don't think I would ask my friend to go and do that.
I know that I would not go in the house. I was too much of a goody two shoes. I wouldn't have broken into the house.
No, I'm not breaking into the house. And then Ronnie breaks in because he's scared to death and starts running through the house.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh my God, dude. I was freaking out.
And he's screaming in the halls too. He's screaming through the halls.
Screaming through as if like, no problem here. I love that scene. I like, it's more of like a setup scene than anything else, but you see kind of in the beginning towards the beginning of the movie, it's the beginning of his house arrest phase. He's on Xbox Live, which takes me back to 2007. He's sitting there, going through the headphone. All right, guys, get him over here.
I got his flank. I got his
flank. Come on, guys. Come on. Back it up. There we go. And then his mom cuts it off. Then he goes into iTunes. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I haven't seen that iTunes platform like that in decades. And so that was fun for me. Then he's got the thrill of the neighbor moving in. It's the hot girl. And also, like, this kid is sloppy as shit, dude. Like, looking at his room the whole time, like, I'm not necessarily OCD, but I like things clean.
Well, yeah, at our age,
Oh,
yes. But back then, that's how I was. Same way.
oh, dude, he was so messy. He was giving me anxiety just looking at his room. And he doesn't get his act together until the girl comes over.
Yeah.
And finally, like, picks up his shit.
This is a good time to bring up, what is the deal with Hollywood movies and the most unrealistic bedrooms? Like, they have the coolest fucking rooms. And I was saying this last night when I watched it. Even, like, my friends who were really wealthy as kids, like,
don't have bedrooms like that.
There's still just a bedroom. Like, I don't know what that is. I guess it's just easier to film.
I guess.
But coolest bedrooms.
I'm sitting there looking at it from, like, a real estate agent perspective, like, Jesus Christ, look at the square footage on this.
And Ashley's got, like, a full, like, a sunroom. She's like, oh, let me just go chill on the roof.
Let me go chill.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that was so wild to me. I'm looking at this house. I'm like, this house is fucking expensive.
I mean, if you're going to be on house arrest, that's not the worst place.
Not the worst place to be. And I think the mom in this scene were like setting the tone for, like, this depressed teenager with his sloppy ass room. And now he's got his iTunes cut and his Xbox cut. She's like, Kale, I have 2 open houses today. I'm like, oh, shout out. Trinity is a real estate agent. Let's go.
Yeah. I didn't know if she meant she was trying to sell their house.
Ooh.
That's what I thought at first, because she was like that. And maybe that was something they were writing in and then abandoned. But that could have been another depressing element.
Oh, like, I didn't even think about that.
Trying to move out of the house because this is where we got our dad's office here. We're trying to get away from the past. So, but I think if it was part of it, they definitely scrapped the idea that they had already filmed. So
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I just thought, like, oh, well, mama's got to work to be able to afford the house arrest and everything else they've got going on. I'm sure they got life insurance. Let us pray. I got also here in my notes. He gets arrested the first time. Not after punching the teacher, but arrested after he's on house arrest.
He runs down the street.
Because he's running down the street chasing the kids that lit a bag of shit on fire on his porch. And that made me laugh. A, because it's a bag of shit and no one does that anymore.
Yeah.
But B, I'm like, dude, I have been there where you got these little shits in your neighborhood that are just being pain in the ass. And then you get reintroduced to Gutierrez or whatever the cop's name is. And he's like, oh, Shia's like, are you freaking kidding me? This guy's here in 30 seconds? Is he just waiting for me? It was, I love that scene because it's like, it just takes you into, like, that age where you're like, oh my God, I got these little freaking pranksters trying to make my life hell. And my life's already shit. And now I got to chase them to kick their ass. And turns out, can't do it. And he doesn't even realize it until he's already run past the moving truck. And then he gets arrested back in his yard. He's like, oh, shit. I'm sorry. And then that sets a tone for, like, the parents of the hot girl next door, like, God, what the fuck did we just move next to?
Although Ashley was probably like,
oh, yeah, exactly. Did Ashley's like, oh,
he's a tough guy. Yeah. I thought that was kind of unrealistic too. Like, how are you really going to forget that you can't leave your house?
I mean, dude, he's been stuck in there for ages. I mean, I think was it 7 seconds? I said, if you're past it
was at the time limit
for 7 seconds, like, they're going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gutierrez, great casting, by the way. For the cop. That guy, he's always like the same character in every show and movie.
I feel like I just thought, like, this guy's a cop.
Yeah.
It's like every cop I've ever met.
He's either a soldier, but every time he's like a shitty, like a bad cop, corrupt soldier.
Okay.
Abusing power kind of guy. He's in Walking Dead. That's the only thing I can remember, man.
He makes it known too very quickly. I liked a scene where he kind of catches Turner in the act and he knows, but he's also like, so I don't know if you remember the scene. It's like the first time that he's like, oh shit, there's a redhead over there who just walks in and he's got the camera and he's filming, and what shitty quality that camera is. It's like 240p. He is got this thing zoomed in as far as it can go, and it looks all nice and all that stuff at first. And it's like, she's just like dancing for him or whatever. It's an escort girl. And then all of a sudden he sees the knife. He's like, oh shit, shit, shit. And then it's like, oh, she's just cutting off the price tag. And then later you see the girl, like 5 minutes later, like banging on the window or whatever. All of his buddies leave. Ronnie and the girl leave. And he's like, oh my God. And he starts filming more, and he accidentally hits a button on it where the flash goes off because he takes a picture and he's like, oh shit. And he goes and he ducks and he tries to hide, but then he comes back up a few seconds later and he sees, and it like locks eyes with
Turner.
I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Now they both know.
I thought that the writing and the acting in that scene was really realistic because they're doing this stakeout. They don't really think he's a killer. They're doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how you would feel like when you're like, oh my God, he's got a knife. Yeah. And then it would click and your heart would start racing like, oh my God. And then you don't know what to do. Do we run over there or do we just keep filming? So they get kind of frozen. Very, very believable.
Incredibly believable. It's a scary scene, dude.
Other best scenes.
Go.
Two with John Turner in the house the next day.
Oh,
which was like he closes the fridge door and he's like that. What the? It's just it is. And he's like it keeps hold like he's talking about the knives, and I love the line where he goes, "I understand. I had teachers that I just wanted to kill."
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, this guy is definitely a killer.
Fucking playing it up, man.
And then also the scene between Ashley and John Turner.
Okay.
In the car.
Oh, yes. So freaky.
Terrifying. And then he spins it like, I don't know what kind of new age thing this is where you're trying to come on to an older man, but I enjoy my privacy. And while he does it, he grabs her hair just a little. Great acting. Both of them. Great acting.
Just like a gaslighting course right there too. Like you know exactly what the fuck you're doing, dude. Oh man, that's frightening. It's just a fucking girl, dude. Like,
and he looks, now that I think about it, he actually looks a little bit like a young Anthony Hopkins.
Oh,
like in Hannibal Lecter form.
Yeah.
Like facial structure and everything. So
good call.
Yeah.
I like the scene. It's a little bit lighter. The girl, the neighbor, tries to throw a party. She moved from the city. She kind of misses her friends and all that stuff. And she throws this party, and Shia's like, okay, well, you're fucking taunting me, I guess. I mean, geez.
Well, because he knows I shouldn't be watching her, but she is trying to piss me off. And when she hugged the guy and the guy picked her up, I literally went, like, that would hurt.
You could feel Shia like, that I don't like that. So he puts on his music over there to try to ruin their party. And then she comes over through the window and he has this like confession with her. Like, she's like, what are you, some kind of just like freak? And he's like, well, no. And he tells her like all of these things that he's noticed about her. And she's like, that's either the creepiest thing that I've ever heard, or it's the most romantic, adorable thing, and it leads to the first kiss. So that was a cool scene.
Nice romantic scene.
It's a nice romantic scene. This movie does a great job of like doing not just keeping it one note.
Yeah,
it does like a bunch of different back and forth things.
Again, the thriller aspect is like it's always in the background, but it's not the highlight of the movie until it is.
Exactly.
Did want to mention too when you think it's going to be their first kiss. Smooth move when she grabs the line. And I was like, oh my God, that would drive you nuts.
Playing hard to get. She knew it too.
But then a funny thing. So like, then the next day he sees her and he's like, I saw him last night. He was doing this and this and this. And she's like, did you even notice my hair? I'm like, are you guys dating now? Like,
yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, it looks nice. Anyways.
Yeah. It was a little too soon to be asking about that, but
I love the scene where she's in the pool and she's doing laps, and Ronnie finally comes over for like the first time, and he's like, Ronnie, I got something to show you. And he starts like running him through the house and showing him all of his different vantage points where he's like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, no, trust me, I'm fine. Listen, now check this out. I've saved the best for last. And he goes and gets the binocs and checks out the neighbor. And Ronnie's like, who is that? And they watch her swim, and Ronnie's horny little ass hits the glass on accident with the binoculars, makes the noise.
Yeah.
So now she knows that they're watching her. And she's like, and then she gets out of the pool, and they're like, oh, fuck. And then she comes and rings the doorbell, which, by the way, doesn't happen in 2025 anymore.
Sure.
And she comes and rings the doorbell. They reluctantly go and answer. And he's like, yeah, hey, no, we were just playing, just having.
He literally says, we're playing upstairs. And he's like, playing Xbox. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then she just invites herself in, and it's like, now we got three amigos, but it's like finally that icebreaker that he'd been kind of looking for. Now she's in his world. Oh, I'm locked out of my house. I love that because it just brings you back to that age when you're.
Well, they reverted back to like elementary school game with her. Like they could not talk to her. And I have that for my superlative for worse overacting them, because he's like, what brings you here to my home? But it was great. It was
well done, man. All right, another solid scene. The climax. Got Kale breaking into Turner's house to save Mama.
Yeah. And that time, that's when you go, I would go in the house.
Oh, fuck yeah. I had put this in my notes. He's like, do not fucking go over there, Mom. Don't go over there. I know what he is. She's like, no, now I have to keep you out of jail. So she goes over there, and it seems he's spying on him for a bit, and it seems all like, pretty normal. And then she goes to leave, and he doesn't see this, but the audience sees basically, the killer concuss her, tie her up, and then.
That might be the only scene that's not his point of view.
Yeah. It probably is the only one that's not. And
breaks that first person.
He doesn't see her, and then is like, And one of the things that he does, I might be getting this wrong, but gets the garden shears, because everything else, I guess, but goes over there to hunt after her. It's like, no fucking way I'm letting this guy do this. It's the only thing he's got left.
Yeah.
It's it. He thought he had lost Ronnie earlier in the movie.
Ronnie should be dead.
Yeah. Thought he lost him. Thank God. So he's like dealing with the weight of that. And then like the only person that he has left that he truly loves, Mom, and you're going to try and take her away from me? Fuck that, man. So he goes in, and he knows at this point the guy's a killer because he stopped the camera and saw that body. And it's just, I love that scene. And I try to put myself in his shoes and be like, how would I go? And like, yeah, that's like one of the only, if somebody took somebody in my family, like, I'm going to have to go into the depths of hell.
As scared as you would be.
Yeah.
Especially your mom.
Oh, dude. Nope.
And he could have picked a better weapon.
Good.
But you got to do what you got to do. I did write down maybe one of the most satisfying death scenes of a villain. The fight was just, the mom gets him in the leg, and then and he pushes him into his river of bodies.
Yes.
Now you lie with all the victims that you've tortured or murdered.
Dude. I loved it. It made me feel good because I'm like, this kid's clearly outmatched. He's not going to overpower this guy. So the only way to kill him would be to either outwit him or get lucky. And he got.
The mom came in clutch.
That's clutch.
Trinity.
That's Trinity. Don't Trinity things, baby.
I thought this was funny when he falls into the water with all the dead bodies. It's disgusting. It makes me laugh because he's like, but this is so funny. It's a classic Hollywood trope. One of the arms of the dead bodies goes,
yeah,
like it's dead, but somehow the arm grabs it.
That arm is like,
yeah. And he freaks out. Oh, that water had to.
Dude, it had to be so rank.
Green. Disgusting.
Can't even imagine the smell in that house,
Yeah.
which is like with that many dead bodies, you're telling me you wouldn't be able to smell that from the street? Like, brother.
Yeah, something. Maybe he preserved, because I think he was doing weird shit in that back room.
That is
That
true.
white room.
That is true. The White Room, which is a classic serial killer space. Like, we're going to have
Cooler
a
place.
white
Was scary
room.
too.
It's like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo room. Like, oh, God, dude, so freaky. Also, what does this guy do for a living to be able to afford all this stuff? Never got into that.
Yeah, they never
Unanswerable question. You got any best lines from the movie?
Well, I already said the one. What brings you here to my home? No, what do you got?
I only have one. I mean, there's a couple. Turner says in there, I'll give two. Turner says, "You have no idea what I'm capable of." That was
When
two.
does he say that?
He says that either,
When he's taped up?
I think so. I think it's when he's taped up. And then Cale, excuse me. Then Cale saying every killer lives next door to someone, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really think about it because you're not thinking like, oh, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I live in a nice neighborhood, or like, but every killer lives next to somebody.
I mean, I live next to two.
All right, let's get into what aged the best. I'm going to say the suspense was great. There's a lot of stuff in here that I thought aged really well. The feeling, even with, the technology changes and cultural changes, still having that, girl next door moved in vibe, finding love and having a buddy of yours that you're trying to live through with the Ronnie stuff. I think that stuff is timeless.
Yeah, just that whole time in your life as a teenage boy, just very well done in this movie.
Yeah, they did a great job.
That age very well.
So this movie pays homage to, there's an old Hitchcock movie called The Rear Window that I've never seen, but apparently it's a very similar plot line. And
we're going to have to go back and watch that.
We're going to have to go back and watch it at some point. And this is just like a modern take on it, and modern take on surveillance and stuff like that. There's a couple of things. Let me check my notes real quick, because I had some other stuff in here that I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if it's aged well, but you got a funny moment when the girl finally comes over and she's in the house, and he's taking her upstairs to the room with Ronnie to just like see all the stuff that she's like, now she's curious, like, the hell has this kid been up to? And she takes the binoculars and he's behind her and like smells her hair. He's like,
that was creepy. No, dude, that was too much. That did not age well. That would be bad at any time.
It's bad at any time. It's funny. It's a little moment, but it's like, all right, buddy.
Don't lean in and sniff.
Don't do that.
The Sleepy Joe sniff.
So creepy, dude. You got, God, let me look at my other questions on here.
Are we doing what age the worst?
Well, we're going to have to get into what age the worst, because I think there's more stuff for that than I think what age the best, because we covered so much in what age the best already, just talking about best scenes and stuff like that. Actually, you know what? I think aged pretty well. Creepy, certainly. But if you are going to get away with murder as a serial killer that takes these escorts or other women, I thought the little tidbit about him taking a wig that looked just like the escort's hair and putting that on and having a dress and all that stuff and walking out. Now, I don't know how this guy, who is 6'4",
is that what he was doing?
Yeah. So he walked. So remember when they are spying on him the first time, this escort comes, and then he's like, oh my gosh, now she's leaving. She's leaving. All right. They thought he didn't kill her because.
But she doesn't leave. He just drives her car.
He drives her car, but he's dressed up like her. So he has the wig on. He's got the dress on. Like, he dresses up like her.
Did he just do that to trick them, or is he?
That's the question. It's probably both. He's probably thinking, just in case anybody's out there watching, and you know, it's an interesting question. But I thought, like, that would still work today with all the cameras and stuff that we have around. It would still probably work.
Zoom in.
Well, as long as you don't zoom in and see his hairy triceps and everything else he's got going on.
There was something that reminded me. I don't remember the scene. Maybe you'll remember it. But there was one scene where he, like, it was very similar to Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
I can tell.
Remember what it was. Maybe when he was hiding. Just the scene when they're in the house and the cop finally realizes, like, okay, maybe this kid was, like, not lying. So he actually, as much of a douche as he was, he does do the right thing. He's like, I'm going to go in and check this house out. And when he's hiding behind the wall, very similar to Buffalo Bill vibes. And his dungeon was similar.
Super similar. Creep.
Yeah.
I remember watching that, and in the theaters, people were like, oh, hell no. The cop's walking in, and you just see it's because it's like storm outside and the lightning is flashing. So before the cop even gets in there, I have this in my notes. You see Cale running through the house trying to find his mom, and he's looking for, like, there's got to be some kind of secret passage in here somewhere. Yeah. So he's like moving stuff around, and then you see him walking in the hallway to try and find stuff. And then the lightning flashes, and you see the killer standing outside watching him. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Some of the camera work was very interesting, too, when he's got his head through that little grate looking at the bodies. Yeah. And then they show him from the outside, and the camera comes in towards him, like, and you're like, oh, my God, is the guy there? And then he's not. That happens twice. Was him?
Yeah, freaking out.
So was the killer there, or was he just watching him? Mm-hmm. Was he letting him inside? Also, the killer could have taken the cop's gun, easily just shot Cale and done whatever he wanted to.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, maybe he's because at that point, dude,
doesn't do guns.
You've killed the cop. So it's not like, is he going to try and pin this on the kid? I got to imagine a serial killer is trying to figure out a way out.
Well, he was, but so he's got him taped up, but once they jump over into the pool, then he's like, everything's falling apart around him.
Yep. Because he knows now the cops have been triggered.
And his plan to get Cale to confess everything didn't work because now they're out. The cops are coming. But then he kills the cop.
Yeah.
And no backup. He's about to call him for backups. Doesn't.
Nope.
Gives it time. So.
But that's what makes me think, like, maybe he thought there's still a chance that I can get out of this if I kill the mom and I kill the kid. And this is after he kills the cop. He's like, maybe I can make it look like the kid killed the cop in some kind of like this kid just went off the rails. But then he would have to deal with the girl too. Didn't even think about that. Then he'd have to deal with the girl and find a way to get her, because she's a witness now and she's not in his house.
And she got away. So now he's just totally fucked. So at that point, why not just take the fucking gun? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But let's get into what aged the worst. I don't really have a ton on what aged the worst as much as I thought. But go ahead. Ronnie's outfits.
Terribly.
I don't know if that was cool back then, but whatever he was wearing does not work anymore.
The outfits, I'm going to say, taking that much peanut butter and chocolate down, brother, I was watching that like, dude, my stomach hurts watching this kid. Jesus Christ.
That was relatable, though, like being home when you're in middle school. I guess he's in high school.
Yeah.
But you don't know how to cook anything, so you're just like, let me just grab whatever I can.
I watched him do dishes and laundry and was like, Jesus Christ, this is giving me anxiety.
Oh, yeah. A little scene where he's, they do a little innuendo. He's on the dryer or the washer, and he's like shaking back and forth, like,
oh, you're like, oh shit, is this kid beating it?
Yeah. Yeah. See, dude, it's mostly a comedy. It's really like 70% comedy.
It really is. It's nice. I think I don't know anything about ankle monitor technology, so I can't tell you that. I will say maybe the iPod didn't age well because those went out of style as soon as the iPhone got huge.
So kids watching it today might be like, what the
hell is that? I don't know what that is. I think gosh, what else didn't age well? I don't think kids are as creative today as they were back in the day with ding dong ditches and
Yeah.
what did they have, like piss water balloons or something that they threw at him?
Was it pee?
Dude, it had to have been something. The kids are not that creative anymore.
Well, they don't have to go out as much. I mean, I'm sure there's kids still doing that stuff.
I'm sure.
A lot of kids now are just on their phones playing video.
You know what else came to me? When he catches the kids at the end of the movie watching the porn on the TV, and he calls in as if he is the service that's providing the porn, and the mom is like, "Oh my God, what is going on here?" So he gets them busted. Like, that is so 2007 because these kids all have it on their phone now, so he wouldn't be on the TV watching it together. But I love that. And I'm sure we're missing what we kind of talked about what age the worst with the fucking hair smelling moment. That was wild, dude. But very 2007, man. Very 2007 clothing, whoever the what do they call it? The oh my God, wardrobe coordinator. So 2007, dude. Everything in there.
Well, Kale dressed like his outfits he could still wear today. He just wore regular shirts.
That's true.
But Ronnie was just like polos with striped shirts underneath of them.
Oh, he had the haircut too. That was just like poofed up everywhere. That was wild. So let's get into hot takes if you have any. Is this a top tier thriller? We keep coming back to thriller in here. Or do we love it because it came out at the right time? I mean, you look back at that 2007 movie list, there wasn't really anything quite like this. So I think a lot of movie experience depends on what else comes out around that same time. And I think Hollywood does a lot of this double action. Like, to try to give an example, like they don't hardly ever anymore come out with, one movie like this. It's usually like, oh, we're going to do Paul Blart, Mall Cop, and Observe and Report.
Yeah.
There's always like two movies that are kind of like the same movie getting made at the same time, that one of them hits and one of them doesn't, or they both suck, or there's never like, I don't know this. So I think a lot of how we feel about movies does depend on when they come out and, what they're competing against at that time. But I thought for a PG-13 movie, this has got to be up there in the top 5 for a thriller category, especially for a PG-13 movie.
It's great. And it's not just the age thing, because it was very, very relatable for us. You were the same age as Kale in the movie. I was younger, but about to go through that same time period. But I watched this with my whole family, and every time it would come on, my dad would throw it on.
Yeah.
So he liked it. I think it's great. That's great.
It was great, man. It's such a fun movie. Let's get into superlatives and awards. Now, this might be a little bit of a debate. Who's the most valuable performer?
I mean, my answer is boring. It's Kale for MVP.
Yeah.
My supporting actor would be more interesting.
I have David Morse
as MVP. It's hard to make the antagonist the MVP because he doesn't have as much screen time.
I know.
But his acting is great.
It was great. Well, I thought about it and was like, all right, well, I love Kale the most, but I think because the killer doesn't really speak, but his presence looms throughout the film, it builds up as it goes. He's just got this menace that makes it a watchable and engaging movie. Like if you cast the wrong person in that role, then it doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
I just thought he's, if you're taking Shia out of it, then like that's the only guy in this movie that makes it super watchable. Kale and Shia he's the most well-rounded throughout this. So you get to see all of his emotions, and you get to see like he's probably the MVP for most people, just because he's on screen the most and is probably the most relatable because there's not hopefully
like you said,
as many serial killers out
his
there.
perspective, the whole movie.
His perspective is the whole movie.
Yeah. So
So I like that. Who do you got for best supporting role?
Ashley.
Uh,
I think she did a great job. Acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's really not any scenes I can think of that are bad acting. It was very realistic.
She's great at it. I thought she played the role incredibly well. I thought she had a nice balance of like girl next door energy. She kind of has like a little bit of a bad girl streak to her, at least that kind of aura. But at the same time, they do a nice job of making her relatable, even to him, who is kind of in his own world because he's forced to be. And you don't get the vibe that he's like, super popular at school or anything like that either. But he does, she does a nice job of like bringing in some balance with her character where it's not just like obnoxious hot girl. It's like you put a Megan Fox in that role, and I don't think she brings the depth that that character is, because he pulls out of her the, trouble with her dad discussions. This is why we moved from the city, because there's too much temptation for my dad, and my mom didn't want to deal with it anymore. And so we move out here hoping for a little bit better of a life, but they're still yelling at each other all the time. There's more depth to her character than I thought for some of the other ones, which she did an awesome job with it.
Only problem with her I had was after he breaks into her car, she comes back and she tells him, like, we got to stop. He didn't do anything wrong. She says something like that. And he's like, yeah, so breaking into your car and taking your keys, nothing wrong with that. Like, are you crazy?
Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Dude, yes, I love that. All right, you touched on this a little bit. Best overacting moment.
What brings you here? To my own. Yeah, but it was good it was a tasteful overacting.
Yeah.
It was maybe a little too awkward, but hilarious.
I've got on there, and this might not be overacting, but incredibly dramatic. Ronnie's fake dramatic death.
Oh my God.
Where the camera goes out and then all of a sudden, like a scene later, the camera turns back on and it's like Ronnie's dead body, or at least it's
he's so horny. His ringtone.
God is good. And then he's like, I'm just kidding. I'm like, this motherfucker, dude, I would have freaked out.
Well, is the overacting when Kale slams him against the wall? He's like,
no,
what I've just been through.
I think that was totally warranted.
Yeah.
Totally warranted, dude. I think that the Ronnie even thinking that would have been an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Was like, are you fucking kidding me?
It just goes, he is just really dumb.
Do you know what? Now I'm on your team right now. Ronnie's just an idiot.
And when I said Ronnie should be dead, it's not because that he was in the house. It's because he gets hit in the head with the freaking bat.
Oh, yes.
And then at the end, they just show him like, and he's got a little black eye. Like, no.
Dude, his skull is bashed in.
Done. He's, if not dead, coma.
Yes.
Not walking around at the end.
Like, you ever seen that Mason Rudolph meme where, do you remember like 2 years ago in the NFL, Myles Garrett took this Steelers quarterback's helmet and hit him in the head with it? There's like a meme. There's like a meme where that, and it's like Mason Rudolph, like, I'm fine, but he's got like this gigantic dent inside of his head. So it's like
when
that's what I'm thinking. Like when I'm watching this, I'm like, how the fuck is that kid alive? There's no chance.
It's like in Underworld when she cuts the dude's head in half, and he's like, huh? And his head falls off.
Wait, what? Funniest moment.
Funniest moment. Let's see. What made me laugh? I said it. Just when he's thinking about watching her, and he stops himself for a second and then just says, fuck it. But we talked about most of my funny moments. What do you got?
I got in there pretty much any of the cutesy scenes between Ashley and Kale, and her calling him out for watching her, and just his like nervous energy because he's like, ah, shit. Like, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but she's so hot. And I'm just like bored out of my mind. And so I thought that stuff was cute. Most unrealistic scene.
Bedrooms.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
The bedrooms are just so, we talked about
They are obnoxiously big. Like, is this kid living in a palace?
Not calling the police. It's not a scene, but just not calling the police like every day. Like, this guy is a murderer. We have the evidence. Just trying to handle themselves. And it's not like, I mean, they're in like a high class neighborhood. The cops will come.
And so I found that interesting. And also, like, and maybe this is like just the reason he didn't have any like concrete evidence, but it's once he does zoom back, he's like, wait, what the fuck was that? It goes back to the camera footage from Ronnie's
And you
camera.
have it. You have the
Then he's got it. But the second that he sees it, it's up on the screen, and then you see the killer behind him. So he's like, oh, shit.
He doesn't have time to call the police.
Doesn't have time to call the cops. But I don't know. I mean, that's, to me, is it is unrealistic, but at the same time, I didn't have anything concrete. And then when he goes in after the mom and he finds that creepy white room, he sees all the stuff. He's like, oh, these are all the fucking, there's a wallet, there's some like jewelry and like all this stuff, like a wig.
Honestly, for a movie, I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah, true.
But they do a really good job of making it pretty believable.
Yeah.
There's not really that many scenes that stick out as unrealistic.
What do you got for best needle drop?
Oh, Lonely Day, System of a Down, 100,000%. I mean, there's other good ones too. Even the funny one,
Yeah.
that one's good. And the other one, Casey and I have been singing it all day to Tommy. It's like, I don't even know the name of the song. He's like, oh, yeah, give it up now. I don't know what that song is, but dude, Lonely Day, 100%.
Oh,
that introduced me to that song.
All right, that's what I got too.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I heard it, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been over 15 years since it came out. Looking back, how do we think it holds up? Pretty well.
Great. I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Is there a room in this movie for a big actor, someone like Al Pacino?
Well,
and who would he be?
That's a great question. I think it would be unnecessary because the big actors in that, like Viola Davis is a huge actor now. Was not at the time.
Yeah. She's the cop, the parole officer.
She's the parole officer. I mean, if there was room for a big actor in this, it would either have to be the serial killer, or it would have to be it'd be a smaller role. It'd be like the judge or
the dad,
or something.
The judge was way too quick. The judge was like 20 seconds. The dad was a little bit longer.
I think so. So I'm gonna say, I think they did a nice job. I watched the deleted scenes because I got this on DVD. Shout out DVDs. There wasn't much there in deleted scenes. I mean, they trimmed this pretty well. There's not really a ton of fat on it. I feel like if you introduce another big character, now if you turn this into like a TV series, I mean, you could get like a good
idea for a remake.
I think it would be awesome.
Honestly, you can have Shia involved, but Shia is now the dad or something.
Hey, there we go. I like that. And they've moved to a different part of the country now or whatever. He's got this mom living with him, and he's married and has kids.
Oh, so it's still Shia. Okay.
I think you could do that.
That's a good idea. I mean, I was saying,
go ahead and patent that.
Yeah. Somebody reach out to Shia.
I mean,
get our people
on. I think you could definitely turn this into a series, but I think that's the only space where you have room for another big personality, and maybe that's a lawyer or a detective.
So you'd have to bring in a new role, not replacing one of the roles, because the killer is perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have somebody bigger playing that, but this brings up a good point though with our series idea. And this is something I thought, another unrealistic thing about this. After they murder this guy, the next scene, like walking out of the house, the mom is like smiling. They are not traumatized enough. They should be like, you would be fucked up, dude.
You would think.
For years and years. Ashley, especially, Kayla is already dealing with the death of his dad.
Yep.
Trinity is, his mom is dealing with the loss of her husband, and she's been locked up in a Buffalo Bill style dungeon. And they're all just like, okay, back to life. Like, now this is something you could get. I mean, they didn't have enough time in the movie to go into their trauma, but if you did revisit it in the series, you could deal with some of the.
You could. So I think part of the reason that they feel that way, I had it in my notes. So he kills the killer to save his mom and himself, which is kind of a fantasy of fantasies for boys, being a protector of your family. It's like becoming a man, kind of, protecting your mom hits twice as hard on this one because he blames himself for losing his dad.
Yeah, and he's not going to lose his
and he's carrying that baggage this whole movie, and he's found love, or what he thinks, could be something with the neighbor. And then he's got his friend back. He's just scared to death of losing the last person in his life that is blood, basically. And it's just like this cocktail of emotions at the end that lead to this moment. It's really well acted. I got to think that the only reason that they're showing that level of gratitude and all that stuff is just because it's like finally something good.
And it's a feel-good movie as much as it's a thriller.
Yes.
So they don't want to bring you down with all that at the end of the movie.
I actually think that this movie has some lasting influence. And I mean, it could be considered a one-hit wonder because there's no there's no Disturbia 2 or anything like that. But we see similar themes pop up in Stranger Things, Summer of '84, The Woman in the Window, where you kind of get like these voyeuristic moments. And then you also get these like kids going on an adventure that's significantly bigger than themselves, to something that other adults don't understand. So like, or the adults are too busy with, what's going on in their lives to focus on what the hell these kids are saying. So I think that's, it's really the only like nosy neighbor thriller that I could think of, but I think it sparked some of the interest in Stranger Things and these other movies and series that have popped since then, because people love nostalgia and they love being put back in that teenage age range, because it's one of the times in your life when you have all these different emotions going on. You got all these different connections. You have your hometown and all the stuff that comes with that, good and bad. And you're not quite an adult yet. And there's a lot of responsibility and baggage that comes with being an adult. So you don't have that. And I think people always harken back to like, God, we had it so easy back then. And it was awesome. And you have all your friends, you're so close. And it's before you go off to college and you guys lose touch with each other and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it did an awesome job of kind of not necessarily paving the way, because people have always liked that stuff. But I think it's got some influence. You can see some of the DNA in some of these other series and stuff that have popped since then.
I agree.
Do you think it would be made the same way now?
It would have to be different with technology. I think you were right with today. They would try to do the perspective of multiple people, which I think would be a mistake. Movies are not coming out the same way they were at this time. I don't think it would be made the same. So no, they wouldn't make it the same way.
No, I don't think that they could, because of the tech aspect, and because there's just like, I don't know, like a couple of like little cultural things that we touched on earlier. I just don't think that they would, like the kids doing, the
shit bag,
the water balloons. Like I just don't think kids are that creative anymore. And rather than like running through the neighborhood on bikes and stuff, like which we used to do that all the time, and finding stuff outside, they're mostly like stuck inside or on their phones or whatever and just Snapchatting each other. Like, I don't know. We seem to have lost touch with some of that stuff. So I don't think it could be made the same way today. I think you would have to almost turn it into a series to make it as engaging. But that's one guy's opinion. Let's get into poking holes, some trivia, and final verdict. Biggest plot holes. how the hell is this guy getting away with killing this many people without anybody noticing?
I don't know, but that does happen.
I guess it does.
That they definitely took inspiration from real people. Like Gacy had bodies buried in his basement in a similar way. But Gacy was even further back with less tech than 2007. So
I just think people are so caught up in their own lives in this that they're not looking around at others. And because Shia is on house arrest and has nothing else to do, he's the only one that it seems like is taking notice. And maybe that's just because the movie is from his perspective, but he's the only one taking notice while these other people are just like living their lives and not paying attention to stuff. I just don't like, I guess it happens. That's my biggest plot hole is like, Jesus, how the fuck is this guy getting away with all this?
I got a small plot hole.
Go on.
Who was able to catch a wild rabbit with their bare hands?
So he trapped it.
Oh, okay.
He has this little trap. The only reason I know this is because my father-in-law has these squirrel traps around his house that look very similar. So this guy caught a bunny in that. Now, unanswerable question. What the fuck does this guy do with this bunny?
Ooh, that's creepy. He definitely, well, I mean, that we didn't touch on that scene, but that's the first scene that's really scary.
Yeah.
Because you think Kale thinks he's talking to him.
Oh yeah, he's freaking out.
Yeah.
And at that point, do you just sit still, or are you backing up?
What he does. He freezes.
He froze and was like, I'm thinking dude, I would have been backpedaling away, slowly army crawling, or just get out of the way of the fence and just pretend like I'm weeding the garden because I'm bored. Oh God. Let's do some trivia. Did you know Shia actually had a real ankle monitor put on, locked himself at home to prepare for this role?
Of course he did, dude. I mean, he ripped a tooth out for Fury.
Oh.
I mean, he's that kind of guy.
He's a pretty
better or worse. He does it that way, and he's a great actor. So it
works well.
I didn't know that he did that. Though.
Oh yeah. Then you have David Morse, who played Mr. Turner, never spoke to Shia or the other actors on set to keep things creepy. If you were acting in a thriller, would you rather your co-stars stay in character like that or keep things light off camera?
I mean, I'm not an actor, so I like the idea of the method thing, getting really into it so that is your life. You are Kale and he is John Turner. So I like that. I like that idea. And especially for the fight scenes too, because he said there was a little bit of this guy actually wants to fuck me up. It's it would help for that. It would make it.
I think it makes it easier on acting when you think it's real. And I mean, obviously we're not actors, but I got to imagine it just makes it easier for you to portray stuff when your environment around you sets that tone. Oh shit, this is real. This guy is really fucking creepy.
And you're also is this guy actually for real?
For real? Does he know this is a movie? Yeah. You said it before. Morse actually broke 3 fingers slamming a wall in a scene, but finished the take. That's just dedication, I guess, to the role. Also fucking insanity.
Yeah.
Plays into that serial killer.
Yeah, apparently he said duck because this is a real bat to Shia.
Oh my God, dude. They used forced perspective tricks to make Turner's house look closer than it actually was. So I guess they did some little movie magic to make it look. So I'm guessing
they used real houses for this.
I got to imagine.
Huh.
They probably filmed this whole thing. Well, think about the movie. Almost all of it had to be filmed in a neighborhood on one street, with the exception of the grocery store and garage scenes and the school scene.
Some of it had to have been set.
Yeah.
But
that's set.
One that was definitely a green screen was when they're fishing. If you look at the background, the grass isn't even moving. It's this is not real.
That's a green screen.
Yeah.
That's a green screen. All right, time for verdict. What's your rating?
First number that popped in my head, and I'm going to stick with it, 8-9.
I love it, man. Love it. I'm going to go 8-7.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 8-7. I thought it was fun, suspenseful, You know, I would have watched more of it if they had more of it. They trimmed it down. They made it super efficient. Loved the plot line. Loved the scenes. Casting was awesome. Maybe I sprinkle in another friend or two for him other than just Ronnie, but I just got the impression he wasn't as popular at school, and maybe that was part of the reason. But, if you had to recommend Disturbia to someone, what's your elevator pitch?
You're going to feel every emotion in this movie, man. You're going to laugh. You're going to want to cry. And, and you're going to be scared. But at the end, it's going to pay off.
It will.
I'm not going to tell you the ending, but you got to watch it.
I love that. Yeah, my pitch would be like, if you want to have a fun fucking ride for 90 minutes or however long this runtime is, I'll watch anything Shia. So if you're a Shia fan, this kid's locked in a house and thinks one of his neighbors is a serial killer. I mean, you sold me on that. It's just a great film. All right. That's it for our Disturbia breakdown. If you're listening to this while you're watching your neighbors, maybe rethink that if you want to find out something you don't like. Next time on the Night Shift, we're going to be tackling something fun. So get ready, follow, subscribe, leave a review. Night Shift out.